Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday evening Conversations with Geoff, where our mission, for those of you that don't know, is to bring empowering guests from all over the world, all types of professions, who are willing to share their experiences that they've gained, the strength that they've gained going through the comebacks in life, right? Whether it be physical, mental, emotional, financial, spiritual, and how they found a way to overcome those very things that we all face each and every day. And they give you, the listener, some empowering tools that you can use. And you can use right now for those of you out there struggling, wondering why your life isn't where you want it to be. For those of you out there that know you're meant for more, man, you're struggling and you're battling and you just can't seem to move forward. And even for those of you out there killing it in this workspace, right? Whatever it might be for you, we all can gain something from this show, right? And man, today's guest may have to reschedule. I'm not sure yet, but I hope that we can get this thing together. I wanted to hop on just to let you know we're still here. For those of you that checked in, please hang in there for a minute and see what we can do with our next guest, because I'm excited about what he has to share and the message that he's going to bring and how he's going to help us tonight. So hopefully he can get to the show. If not, we'll reschedule it. And I want to thank everybody that stopped in already. Sometimes things happen, right? But we show up here, right? This is all about getting through life, man. We either surrender and give up, or we keep moving forward. We keep taking that next step, right? And today I chose to keep moving forward and take the next step. So I want to welcome everybody to Conversations with Geoff. And I encourage you to go back and check out all the different guests that we've had over the last year or so and see what I'm talking about. Humble people that have done tremendous things in their lives and here to serve you, right? Oh, man. So anyhow, listen, my name is Geoff Tyson, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm the host of Conversations with Geoff. And, I got that, they call me the comeback king, right? And, I got that name from folks who have seen me go through life, like many of you go through the different opportunities, I like to call, as a young child growing up, struggling academically, to where do I fit in, to business and corporate lives, and the setbacks that, that rock bottom that comes along sometimes when you're swinging for the fence, right? And you have to hit the reset button, both for personal relationships and business and in health. But we keep getting up, we keep swinging. Oh man! So listen, I want to tell you today that we're stepping into a new era politically here in the United States, and there's been a whole lot of turmoil around that, and there's more to come. But I say to all of you out there that, hey, listen, whatever we're facing, let's remember that we all bleed the same way. We all get dressed the same way. Some of us just put nicer clothes on, right? Our purpose here is to serve one another, to get along and find unity in whatever it is that we're facing. So I encourage everybody, let's continue to move closer together rather than stay divided and separated from each other. And let's find a way to make this thing work, right? So I was in a session earlier. Well, my wife and I spent some time, and hey, I think we may be able to connect with our guest here. So I'm going to go ahead and get into his bio, and if he could give me a thumbs up, I see you in the background. Yeah, and all that. So thumbs up there. Yeah, I like it. Anyhow, I do want to tell you this before I go. I believe that the information that this young man is going to bring to you today is going to be able to give you a few things. I don't want you to write them down. It's going to leave you with some success strategies, number one, give you some actionable advice, number two, and then unlock, I say secrets, but we don't have time, maybe one secret or two that you can take in your life, whether it be in real estate or business and or life, and make a difference today, right? That's why he's here. That's why we're here. So let me just kind of pull back my notes on him here and just give you a quick highlight on it, and then we're going to bring him to the stage, right? All right, well, first of all, he's a seasoned investor. And check this out, active duty Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, author, coach, and philanthropist. He's the founder of Operation Invest and REI Genius, which creates passive income for vets and busy professionals through real estate investing. Ah, man. Hey, somebody got some money sitting on the sidelines. You better look and see what that looks like. If you want to make that money grow, this is a place that probably can help you do that. All right. His specialties are project management, success coaching, marketing, capital raising. I'm going to say that again, capital raising, for those of you out there that don't think that's possible. You're going to learn something tonight possibly around that. He does buy and holds, fix and flips, but his real passion, and I love this, we're going to get into this, real passion is about financial literacy. Look. And he's an author. I've mentioned that before, and he's got a renowned book called Millionaire Real Estate Success Strategies. And check this out, what they forgot to teach you in school. Oh, man. I can't blame them on what they forgot to teach me. I wasn't paying attention anyway. But that's another conversation, another story. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you will turn off all the distractions, call your friends, call your neighbors, and get ready to take some serious notes while we bring to the next episode of Conversations with Geoff, my new friend and our next guest, Johnny Lynum. What's happening, Johnny? Uh-oh. Can't hear you. Let's see. And you can hear me okay, right? Anybody out there, let us know if you can hear him. What's up, Candace? I know. I'm sorry you were on time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Nice to see you, man.
It's a pleasure being here tonight with you. I apologize for my tardiness, running a few minutes behind. But no, I'm definitely blessed to be here and super excited with sharing with the audience tonight.
Well, we're glad you're here, and things happen, man. So hey, let's kind of get to it, Johnny. I mean, there's so many things that I'd like to know. I mean, this is my really first time seeing you, and the beauty of technology, right? And man, we're just reading your information and looking at what you're doing on LinkedIn and some other places. Pretty amazing things. So, but I always like, Johnny, to I read about you, but I always have people wondering, and I wonder too. So what were some of the pieces in your life that, kind of give us some of that backdrop for those of us out there that are still kind of maybe in that space or not quite to where you are, that need to know that it's possible. Whatever it is they're seeking is possible. So, I mean, kind of putting you on the spot a little bit, but you're used to that.
Yeah. No, that's good. I like to tell people, what's not in the bio about you. Yeah. Because I think that's what really gives people a great perspective. For me, man, I'm just a down-home country boy. Grew up Lower Alabama, Grove Hill, about an hour north of Mobile, in the sticks. We had a total of 3 traffic lights and humble beginnings. My dad was a pastor. My mom worked in the laboratory at the local hospital as a phlebotomist. And, early on, I was taught the work ethic, having a strong work ethic, being a man of your word, and had a tremendous example in the house. And, and really just took advantage of the opportunities presented in front of me, but then also learned, and you kind of talked about with the title of my book, what they forgot to teach in schools, was really focused on the formal education, But man, once you get out here in the real world, I know mostly everyone out there can, resonate with that. It's like there's a whole nother beast out here outside of just having a job and being able to build a career. It's like, man, life be life, and you got to have a household. You got to support a household. When you start having children, it's a whole nother dynamic. But for me, it's been an extreme blessing. And I'm a Christian brother. I lean heavily on my faith, and everything that you read about me. I 100% give all, thanks to the Lord above with being able to put me in the right positions, and just those blessings and his grace and mercy, man. I definitely wouldn't be here before you without it.
Yeah. I mean, all due respect there, my friend, and I get that. So, I mean, humble beginnings, country boy, all those things that go along with that, man. Did you ever think when you look back at your life, did you think you'd be where you are today? And if not, why? And if so, where are you going?
Man, that's a phenomenal question. I definitely did not. I didn't see it at this level. I knew I would be successful. That was something that my mom ingrained in me early on. Was like, you know what, she had that vision, because a lot of times we're limited by our environment. So a lot of times you have to lean on the faith of somebody else who sees what the potential in you, sees the greatness inside of you, because you may not be able to see it for yourself because you don't know what's out there. Right. And I really admire her for planting that seed in my life and being able to see the greatness inside of me and pushing me to my greatness and holding me accountable all at the same time. And so never would have thought I would be in the position that I am right now. But, the more I become seasoned and experienced, that having that vision for your life and having that mindset of what you're capable of, it takes the shackles off, and you're truly limitless. And, if anybody, that's watching tonight or watching this after the fact, one thing I want you to take away from this is that you are worthy of success, and you define your success in life, what you're able to achieve. And so going along the way, I continue to just set, higher goals as I learn and learn more and more about what's out here in the world and what's possible, to set the benchmark that much more higher and continue to strive for, achieving those next levels.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. And we share a similar message about being worthy of success. Nothing will stop us from reaching our destiny. We shall not be denied. I say it all the time. And I love how you give credit to those around you. It sounds like that old adage where it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a hero, and the military CEO that's sitting in front of us today. And I know they're very proud of you, man. And I appreciate that, the humbleness still, right? I mean, I didn't get into the details for those of you out there that are in the real estate space, but this man, has accumulated a small nest egg, $14 million or so, and 140 plus properties and some other tremendous things while working full time, while serving our country full time. For those of you out there that feel like you're too busy or don't understand what's going on, we want to smash some excuses, Johnny, here tonight, right? I mean, we want to
100%. And I would add in on to that of being a present husband and father of 3 at the same time too.
I was going to get to that because that's the biggest job right there, right? Father of 3, and how old are your children?
11, 8, and 6.
Okay.
Never a dull moment.
Hey, they're about the age of, I'm telling my age a little bit of my grandkids. They're 3, 6, and 14. So
okay.
Different thing for me because I'm leaving, but I'm in that climate and in that environment, man. But not to get off the subject, but I'm gonna just stay here for a minute. But when we think about the power and the imagination of a child, Johnny, I mean, they don't understand no, right? I mean, if there's something that they want, then they'll be relentless around how they get it and how we shape that brain. You have that opportunity. How's that been for you? To pay back.
Man, it's been tremendous, man, just to see the kids and the growth. I look at where I was at their age and where they are now, and it's like tremendous, just the capabilities that they have. My 11-year-old, he was in the kitchen this evening and was asking about inflation. And, and just saying, hey, he heard such and such at school about, President Trump coming back in and what inflation means. And so we broke down inflation and what that actually means to the economy. It's like, okay, I understand that. And put it, it's like, so, just having those conversations, but really just to see the growth and just see them coming into their own and just how they interact with the world, would interact with each other, and how I'm able to mold their lives and being the example that I am, the conversations and the wisdom that I can provide to help hone them in on just being great citizens and just having a positive impact on the world and just handing off the baton eventually to them with everything that we've been blessed to achieve and build up.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love the fact that there's that communication piece. I mean, he's 11. How old is he? You said
11.
11 years 11. Old about inflation. And, I'm just, inflation was a word I didn't figure out till a little older than that back in the day.
Right, me and you both.
Compound interest, all that, right? So, but to be able to talk about that now, I believe, this is just what I believe, man, that the most important thing we can do for our children is to teach them how to communicate at whatever level, at any space. That's our responsibility. I mean, I don't care if they know about history as much as they need to be able to sit down and have a conversation about, Dad, tell me about inflation. I'm hearing this. What does that mean? And then be able to understand it, right? I mean, and then go back and talk to whoever is and be comfortable with that. Anyway, man, I love that space, but I know you're here to talk about some other things. But thank you for just allowing me to play in that space, buddy, because our children are what it's all about.
No, 100%, 100%. And I think that's the thing. That's one of those areas that so many people lose sight of. And I know, and it's hard, like different situations, you have individuals working 2 jobs. I've been working 2 jobs for almost a decade now with my business. And it becomes challenging sometimes balancing the two and being able to have that quality time in the evenings and things like that. But it's definitely worth the sacrifices to be able to have that impact on the children and make time for them and just let them know that they're valuable. And, like you said, just little stuff like that, the conversations that you can have over dinner and just the impact that would have long-term, that it's definitely going to be worth the investment that you make.
Ain't no doubt about it. And I always say this when I get into this space, is I always encourage parents to remember this, what I'm about to say is that what conversation do you want your child to have when they lay their head down on that pillow tonight? Is it one where because you had a day and they got the worst of you and you just said something that you can't take back? Or is it one that you're proud of with a smile on your face, knowing that when they go to sleep, they're going to realize that they are amazing, they are God's masterpiece, and nothing's stopped them from their life? And how do they wake up? Right. Yep. So for you parents out there that are busy, and I know we're here to talk business, but this is real, what we say here tonight. So I encourage everybody just to kind of pause when we come to our kids. My wife and I pray every day that, for our son-in-law and our daughter to be the voice of velvet words to our grandbabies, to their children. Anyway, I'll be here all night about that, man. So thank you for that space. So let's get back to you and you, the REI genius. Did I say that correct?
Yes.
And that piece, you created that to work with veterans and passive income folks. And how did that become what it is today?
Yeah, no, that's become my mission with changing lives through real estate. And, REI Genius really focusing on helping veterans and high achieving professionals create passive income with real estate. And, multiple ways with, I have some clients that I work with that, looking to fix and flip homes and building the systems and frameworks that I built and perfected over the last 15 plus years investing in real estate. And, on the other side of the pendulum, we have, buying apartment complexes and doing the same thing, whether it's on the active side or educating investors on how to be astute investors and make sound investments and being a great steward of the resources that they have and investing in these type of deals passively. And so, it completely focuses in on the information, but then also being a hands-on consultant and just making sure from every aspect of the deal, from finding the deals, going through due diligence, finance, going through after we acquire the deal with renovating it And then the great part of it is the culmination of all of this with the finish and being able to execute the business plan, whether it's refinancing or long-term ownership, to have them execute. And as I like to say, become the best CEO of their last name, because this is definitely, it's a family business, and we're all about building wealth for long term for those next generations.
Yeah. So with all of that, man, what have you figured out now that the election is over? What are you looking at going into 2025? What strategies are you changing, or what strategies do you feel comfortable with that you're going to stay with?
No, that's a great question, because I think right now we're definitely in a transition phase, but at the same time, not so much. Because if you look back over, say, the last 5 years on the impact, we saw it today where the market shot up over. I didn't see the closing bell, but when I looked, it was almost over 1,400 points up, which was close to 4% increase S&P 500. And so the thing is that most people they never realize that in America, investors win. And those principles aren't changing. When you look at wage growth compared to like the growth of your equities, when you talk about your investment portfolio over time, that the equities in the stock market and owning stock and investments, we look at those who own real estate 4 or 5 years ago, that's had seen a 40% appreciation. Investors win. When you see wage growth has only been in the mid to high teens.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, and guess what? Wages are taxed way higher than investments.
Yeah.
And so when you start looking at it, you got to understand, how can you transition from one quadrant to the other? How do you go from employee and trading all your time for your income to now investing your money? And now you're looking at your money is working hard for you and it's producing income. And so that's the thing that I think that is still consistent regardless who's in power, whether it's the Democrats or it's the Republicans, that in this capitalistic society we have in America and the economy, investors win. And so it behooves us to figure out what are the right investments for us when it comes to our risk profile. When we start looking at how we diversify our portfolio, we need to understand where we stand in regards to investments and the decisions that we're making and what's the impact long term. So I think, it's a change is coming, but I think investors are going to do well in the next couple of years in the upcoming administration. And and so I think from an investor standpoint, it's gonna be good. He's a real estate guy, so I think you're gonna see the things that we saw with the 2017 tax changes, with the bonus depreciation coming back in, with the commercial real estate. You may see some changes there as well that are gonna be positive for real estate. And so I'm always optimistic, regardless who's in power. I'm optimistic. And we got to, for us that's building wealth, it's like we got to do what we need to do regardless who's in office.
That's right. So I mean, I love the fact that you kind of wrapped it up with it's our responsibility, and don't depend on who's in the office, because it really is still up to us to be smart and make the right moves. But what do you tell people? And because there's always horror stories around people being taken advantage of, or trusting someone and making investments and it didn't work. I mean, how would you distinguish yourself from someone else that has the same kind of package? Why would I want to invest with you? I guess,
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I had a conversation at the last conference that I went to with an investor that he's lost over $1 million as a limited partner, investing part-time, not part-time, but investing where he was completely passive. And, I kind of peeled back the onion, I was curious. And, it really came down to two things, with him being over trusting and not verifying the operators. And so I think that's the thing that it comes down, that you have to be educated. You have to be informed in whatever you're investing your money into. You have to be informed, one, on the investment itself, understanding what the numbers mean, understanding if it fits your risk profile and your risk tolerance, but then also understanding the operator, doing a background check on the individual, understanding, have they filed bankruptcy before? Are they actually doing what they say they're doing? Are they actually in the space? And so I met so many people that, that say, hey, I had a real estate coach, but he didn't own any real estate, or he just started buying real estate last year, or they never even asked the questions and see like HUD statements on actual deals that they purchase and they sign on the actual HUD document for the loan. And so it's little things like that people, they don't know and they take for granted and then they end up in, bad situations. And don't get me wrong, there's some deals and opportunities where the operator could have done everything right and still, there it didn't turn out the way that they wanted to. And so, and that's the thing. That's why I understanding the risk profile, because there's risk in everything. Buying a brand new building, it has a totally different risk profile than buying a building that's 50 years old.
Yeah.
And it's 50% vacant and hadn't been maintained the last 10 years. So it's two different risk profiles with those deals, but if you don't know, you don't know. Yeah. And that's the thing that I think it always goes back to being an informed investor.
So with that, so I'm listening to you. I'm thinking, I'm in the audience. So, there's different levels of investors. You got the seasoned one that's ready to go. Then you have the one that's had some experience. And then you have one that we're kind of talking about now that's not educated and not certain. Where do you steer those people out there that haven't gotten their feet wet yet? I mean, what direction do you take them? And do you turn them away sometimes because they're just not ready?
No, that's a really, really good question, because that's something I've seen, with my inner circle, that I really target individuals that have done real estate deals before. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you have to get that education. And so that's something that we've been working on, whereas they're having something at the entry level for those that are kind of may take a little bit more time, not as experienced, because I found that sometimes it can slow down those that are moving out and they're ready to charge the hill. They got their first deal. They're looking to build off of the momentum that they have with that, versus people who are still trying to learn and come up. And so I think the biggest thing is making sure they're in the right environment where they can have the information, but also the accountability. Because the thing that I found with so many people is, and I was there, until I had that transformation personally, I was there where I was consuming everything on YouTube, podcasts, listening to interviews, reading the books, and I was just consuming, but I wasn't taking any action. And the thing is, like I always tell people, education without execution is entertainment. And so many times we just want to be entertained. We see it so many times. People go to school, you get a 4-year degree, and you go out and get a job in something totally different. And the thing is that we really have to live and execute on purpose with what it is that we're looking to do. So, it's really giving the information, but at some point, once you get 70, 80% information, you got to move out and start taking action and continue to fill in the gaps as you go. Because you're never going to have 100% solution. You're never going to have your faith where everything is going to be laid out right in front of you for the deal, that you're going to have to move out in a little bit of uncertainty. And the thing is, that's what I love and I've learned lately over my journey is the power of having your network and having the right people in your circle where you don't have to know everything, but you know who to call.
Right. I love that. Yeah. I mean, it's all about the who that can answer the question, right? If you don't have the answer, I mean, I love Henry Ford, who when somebody was making fun of him because he had a 6th grade education. And he says, well, if I have a problem, I can't figure it out, I'll just hire somebody to give me the answer. What can you do? I mean, and so it's all about the influence of the circle and the proximities we're around. So, well, I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking about my experiences too with different fundraising opportunities and some do-overs that I've learned from. And so what, everything's not perfect. What can you share from a mistake that you may have made that you don't want people to know, or not know, but want them to know to be careful of as you've grown this empire that you've had? What's one that you learned something from that you never do again, if you don't mind sharing that?
Yeah, no, most definitely. And this one is an easy one, and it's fresh in my mind. And for our complex that we have in Montgomery, Alabama, total 96 units. Over the last 18 months, I fired 2 property managers before. We just hit 1 year with our current manager, who's doing a phenomenal job. And the thing is that the first one, they answered all the questions the right way, but there's some things I learned along the way that, hey, they managed 5,000 units, but in our market, they only had 1 complex. And the majority of their staff was over 2 hours away. And so the thing is, from a logistics standpoint and operations, it wasn't set up properly because, you know, there was a lot of dependencies that weren't in the local market that we needed for our property. And we learned that the hard way with the inefficiencies, the renovations taking too long. And then eventually, you know, we separated, went separate ways from them with a local operator. But guess what? This local operator, even though we were kind of in desperation mode, I was like, hey, we need somebody local on the ground. They were familiar with the property. One of the previous owners that owned this property management company. They had got software in place, hired a new property manager. Things were going great, but guess what? They had the new property manager they hired for our property. They had a disagreement, and she up and quit with zero turnover with the legacy employees for that property management company who had no clue about what was going on in our property. And that went on for about 45 days until we're like, okay. And one thing when you think about hiring as an owner, you hire slow and fire fast. And so after going to like, okay, we got to move over. We got to move on with this. And so we went interviewed and found the largest property management company for Middle Alabama in the area. They manage multiple multifamilies already in the area. Looking back at it, hindsight's 2020. We're like, yeah, we should have hired these guys first. But I say that property management can ruin a great deal.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, you know, thank God that we bought right and we were able to go through, talk about capital raising, like, hey, you had to step back out, bring in some more capital for operations and to address, you know, unforeseen uptick in vacancies and turn the units over that we hadn't necessarily planned for in the budget. But the thing that I'll tell you with the property management is making sure that you have the right people is paramount on anything, but definitely so as you start doing bigger deals and get into the commercial and multifamily asset class, that it's definitely a team sport, and you want to have the best property management operators on your team that are going to be an extension for you. Because, you know, I love to invest across the state of Alabama, but I live in the DC metro area. So I'm 14 hours away, you know, give or take from Montgomery. And you can't be there on the ground. So you got to really have competent people on the ground and people that have the right skill set and experience on the ground. So to kind of help you continue that success. So.
No, I get it. I forgot you were in the DC area, man. I mean, you know, I think I told you we lived in Reston.
Yep.
We got to
and we're right down the street over there in Leesburg.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to get together for a coffee or something here soon.
Yeah, I love that, man. Actually, my wife will be out that way. We're in Houston now, but she'll be out that way in the next month or something. Anyway, so man, I appreciate you sharing that, because a lot of people, you know, it ain't always the glitter and the glow. You know, it's the stuff that pops up that you don't see coming sometimes, and then how you respond and how you react makes the difference, right? And this is, you know, this business is a beautiful business, man. So some success strategies that let's kind of shift into that space, because we're running kind of close on time, man. When you look at, well, let me back all the way up to your book. You know, the things they don't tell you in school. Have we touched on any of that? Is there something that you can leave the audience with in that space? You know, and go get his book, by the way. I'm gonna have to get it off, so I haven't read it, I'll be honest, but I'm going to Millionaire Real Estate Success Strategies, What They Forgot to Teach Us in School. You know, I really wanted to kind of tie that into maybe some success strategies that you figured out maybe because you didn't know, you know, I mean, the blind spots. I mean, that's the first thing I thought when I read that, like, you know, what the blind spots look like. So talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, no, you know, and that was definitely a passion project. I didn't set out to write a book, and the opportunity got presented to itself. And I kind of took advantage of it. You know, when we start talking about success, for me, that I have found that there are kind of three components when it comes to success. You got conviction, you got education, and you got execution. And when we talk about conviction, we're talking about that strong desire. You know, a lot of people say, what's your burning why? Why are you doing what it is? For me, it's the family. It's the generational legacy. You know, one of the things my mom preached to me every opportunity she got, like, hey, your goal is to get out here, figure it out, get a good job, and always take care of your sister. Whatever, I don't care what happens, you get married, whatever, you better take care of your sister and do that. But for me, it's family, and it's that big burning why. And being able to spend time with them, it allows you to look at life different. For me, it's like, okay, real estate is a vehicle. There's plenty of vehicles out here, but for me, it was real estate that can give me that time freedom, which allowed me to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
And so, you know, being able to go through and understand those goals and what drives you to do everything that you do, that passion. And so really having that conviction, because guess what? When Mike Tyson says everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And, you know, and that was the thing, you know, we got punched in the face when we had the property management company that wasn't fulfilling its duty. You know, they weren't collecting rent. They were slow. They were getting vacant units and weren't turning them over fast enough. And guess what? That $38,000 monthly interest payment when stopping. They were looking for it. And so
they want their money.
Exactly.
Where's my money?
Right. And you got to figure it out. But guess what? My conviction was bigger than the adversity that was in front of me. And until your conviction becomes bigger than the fear that's holding you back, the what ifs, the doubt that you have in yourself and your capabilities, until your conviction gets larger than that, you'll never move. You'll never take action on your dreams. So you got to have that conviction. So then after the conviction, you got to get the education. We talked about the knowledge and being an informed and astute investor. So looking at having how you can look at the books, the podcasts, watching conversations like we're having right now with seasoned people who have experience in life in the area that you're looking to go. I forgot who said it, but guess what? If you want to understand the road in front of you where you're trying to go, guess what? Talk to those that are coming back.
Coming back. Yes, sir.
That's the thing that we look at with mentorship. And we look at being able to, you know, somebody that has 30, 40 years of experience, and now you can collapse that into a book, you know, go read a book for a few days, or, you know, a mentorship for 3 months, 6 months. Now you can get that person's experience and wisdom and apply it to your life. And you don't have to expend that amount of time. And, you know, and so that's the thing that I love about mentorship, is because like now you're getting a cheat code. You're able to accelerate your life by tapping into somebody else's wisdom and experience. Then lastly, it's execution. And that's chapter 4 of my book. Take action. Take action. That you got to have the right habits. If you show me your habits define your life. You know, your schedule. If it's not on your schedule, then it's not important to you. And so being able to set up the habits, and that's what I found with interviewing all these millionaires and really looking at what gave me the success to get to the level of achievement with me becoming a multimillionaire in my life, that you have to have the right habits. You have to have that discipline, and you have to have it on your schedule. I tell people, show me your schedule. I'm like, hey, if having a date night and building a relationship with your spouse is important, it should be on your schedule. If being in good shape and your health is important to you, it should be on your schedule. Going to the gym, or you know, going to the nutritionist, going to get a massage, whatever it is that's important to you, it needs to be on your schedule. And then the other side of it, when you start talking about execution, you got to embrace adversity, because adversity is coming. It's nothing that you can go and not plan around and be there. You know, the crazy part is like, you know, this past week, I lost my cousin that was really like a brother to me. And the thing is, like, you can't plan for that. There's nothing that you can do to be prepared for loss. But guess what? Whether I was living my life on my terms, trying to accomplish my dreams, or if I was just sitting on the couch doing nothing, like that, life is still going to happen. And so it behooves us to be moving out here and accomplishing and chasing our dreams, because guess what? Tomorrow's not promised.
That's right.
And it just continued to help me double down on what's important in life. And being able to, one, get that time back to celebrate and spend time with the ones that we love and care about. And at the same time, prepare the next generation, because none of us know if tomorrow's going to be promised to us. So we got to do what we need to do today to prepare. And so that's setting up a trust, setting up a will, making sure you have everything in place if something happened to you and your spouse, or who's going to take care of your kids, making sure that, hey, you have the right insurance in place. Things like that, making sure that you have everything moved into your trust and title to your trust, so it can bypass probate. So all these things that we need to think about, there's a lot of times we take for granted. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, to find that millionaire success that I call, you take the information, you add the action to it that you're taking after you get the information, and then you multiply it by the repetitions times R. I plus A times R equals success in any facet of your life. Get the information, start taking action, and then just show up consistently, doing it over and over and over again, those repetitions, and that's what's going to drive you to your success.
10,000 shots, 10,000 shots, whatever those look like, and sorry for your loss, by the way, man.
Thank you. Yeah,
I love that. And as I listen to you talk about conviction, education, execution, what are those non-negotiables, right? And having that purpose, man. I love that. And then actionable advice. That was one of the other things. You kind of talked about all that. So, I do that. And what secret, what secret can you share that it's not really a secret, but it's one that people don't talk about a lot? What can you leave us with, man, that, can certainly turn the notch?
Yeah. No, and this is an easy one, and it's become easy because it's so true. And you look across life that you just find so many signs of. When you look at the Bible and scripture and everything, that it's your mindset. Mm-hmm. It's your mindset. It's your mindset that sets you up for long-term success. Mm-hmm. And I always say that, if you believe that you can do something, you're right. And if you believe you can't do it, you're right. Mm-hmm. And so many times we take something so simple that's free for granted. When you think about what the most important things in life that are free, you look at relationships, love, the air that you breathe, water, the things that are basis of life, that all these things are free. And you think about your mind and your mind and everything that you can do for is reading, your mindset, learning information, it's all free. But guess what? All those free things that in life, we take them for granted. Think about if you give somebody something free versus something somebody's paid for that is materialistic, that we put so much emphasis on the things that we spend money on versus the things that are the what's the right word? The essence of life.
Yes.
Is free.
Yes.
But we don't value those things. Mm. And that's the thing that trips us up so many times, and it's painstaking. The number one cause of so many people not being successful is because of their mind.
Yeah.
That the junk that we're feeding our mind versus the positive things that we could be feeding our mind that directly impact our lives.
Yeah.
And so if anything that I tell people is you got to have the right mindset. You got to feed the right information to your mind, because your mind is the gateway to everything that's happening around you. Because guess what? It has to start internal. Everything that is here that we see physically, it started with an idea in the mind. That's the iPhone, the television, the car. It started in the mind before it became into fruition here in reality. And so if anything that you want to do, start here with your mind, because you got to tell yourself that it's capable, and you have to build it here first before you can build it in the physical.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. We talk a lot about the brain muscle, and the whole thing around that conversation we're having with ourselves, about ourselves, and that's thinking, right? And it's free. I tell people all the time, I said, look, you had a decision. You can eliminate the excuse of money, education, and time by just paying attention to what you do with this, right? What's going on? What are you telling yourself? What's that conversation? I always like to poke people a little bit, ask them every morning. So when you look in the mirror, who do you see looking back at you? And do you like what you see? And if not, why not? And all that stuff around what you see and what you hear, and everything starts. And I love that, man. I love that. So listen, sir, I've kept you past what I normally do, man. It's been a great time. Is there anything that you'd like to close this up with? And first of all, how do people get a hold of you? And what do you have any upcoming events that they may be able to attend?
No, great question. My website is a great resource. A lot of resources out there. JohnnyLynum.com. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Johnny Lynum, the military CEO on Instagram. And would love to have a conversation with anyone. You know, we can be a benefit, add value to you. If you're trying to figure this thing out when it comes to investing and maybe real estate and how to diversify a portfolio, we would love to have a consultation call with you. I'm always doing webinars. I actually have one tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, we're gonna do my millionaire wealth blueprint, and kind of go through that process when I talk about everything when it comes to the conviction, the education, and the execution, and what that looks like, and then share my finance fix finish framework when we start talking about investing in real estate. So that's it, man. No, I appreciate you having me on, and phenomenal, man. Just love the conversation. I'm a true believer, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about it, man. And listen, I'd like you to think about maybe putting something together and having you back on. We can promote it to kind of get you some more information out there, because I love the fact that as brilliant as you are, you break things down to where anybody that walks along the conversation can pick up on some stuff. So, and that's magic. A lot of people can't do that, man. So we appreciate that. Hey, until we talk again, my friend.
All right. Be blessed.
Be blessed. Thank you very much, Johnny. Great show, man. Appreciate you. Hey, so as I've mentioned to you guys before we hopped on, make sure you go back and re-listen to this. Get out there and get his book. And I put in the chat how you can reach him in his website there. He's on LinkedIn, Johnny Lynum. And so I really encourage you to take a moment, go back through this, and take a listen to what he had to say. And know this for sure. There's no better time than now to get involved in real estate if that's what you're looking at. If you're thinking about multifamily and commercial real estate, or if you have a bucket of money sitting there and you're looking for a place to park it, I would encourage you to do your research on Johnny and talk to those folks about what they're doing. And lastly, just remember, like we always say, you are meant for more. Don't let anything stop you from reaching your destiny. You shall not be denied, baby. No matter what you think about, you can change it. Change your thoughts, change your life. Like he said earlier, let's get a conviction, something that burns so brightly that you can't stop it. Get some education about what that might be, and then start to execute, baby. No longer sit on the sidelines of life. Let's get busy living life full out. Praise and compliment. Let's be epic in who and how we meet people. Encourage, praise, inspire, and compliment. Hey, listen, got to run. Have a great night. Appreciate everybody. Subscribe, share this information. My contact information is at the bottom of the screen for those of you that have been trying to get a hold of me. Let's connect and have a great conversation. See how we can work together. All right. Hey, have a good night. Appreciate everybody.